Hello everyone, how are you? Today is November 21st, and we're going to be doing another Pro Overwatch commentary. Today I have FaZe versus NiP, and it's been a couple days since I've posted a video, mostly because I've been just waiting for the meta to kind of settle, let teams get a little bit comfortable, and I've also been gone, so that's a good reason as well. I do have a lot of mail backed up, but I'm not ignoring you. I will get to that sometime tonight. Anyway, so we're going to be taking a look at how teams are playing a little bit differently after the kind of shake-up patch we saw this past week or two. And remember, professional players are not some sort of like robot gods or something. They can't instantly adapt to all changes. So we're going to see these changes happen slowly. These are still, if we just pause it real quick to go over the teams, still pretty similar to what you normally see. This in particular on NiP is the NiP lineup. It's literally what they've done every game forever for the past, at least on this map, on Dorado, for the past long time. FaZe, however, is playing a little bit different than you would have seen in the past. They're playing a Soldier and a McCree. They're also playing a D.Va now. So the Soldier and the D.Va are the things that are strange. You wouldn't have seen those before the patch. And in general, before we start the matchup, I'm going to say that this team pretty much beats this team on most days of the week. This McCree pick we'll get into a little bit later, as I'm not too sure about that, but let's see what happens. So we can see that FaZe is all standing on this catwalk up there with their McCree and their Soldier, and this is a pretty standard play. We see the D.Va, now you can't see her, but you could see her firing over here. Zombs on D.Va is in this cave, which is going to be a little bit of a problem. Now, I'm not sure what FaZe was trying to accomplish with the D.Va being in here, but whatever it was, it clearly didn't work. The D.Va should always be somewhere near the Reinhardt. That way, when the Reinhardt gets dove on, when his shield has to go down for some reason, the D.Va's there to back him up. And we're going to see here that as we push up, the Reinhardt does get pushed on, his shield does go down, and he starts to take a lot of damage. And in fact, fact fiction, what a statement, dies. And only now do you see the D.Va start to come out from her cave, but it's a little bit too late, and you can see that now there's a lot of players on FaZe exposed. This is not looking very good at all. NiP has all sorts of nasty things they can do to them. They can hook them, they can Hanzo headshot them, and this is looking very bad. In fact, we're already at the checkpoint. There goes the Soldier, played by Shadowburn, of course. He goes down, and this looks pretty much like NiP's point, unless they do something absolutely tragic, which I don't expect that they will do. And indeed, we managed to get a nano boost out because Fact Fiction on that Reinhardt for FaZe died very early, so he was able to respawn and come back. So it did look dicey for maybe a millisecond there, but NiP takes the point, and that was pretty easy. But I just want to look real quick for just 10 more seconds at this part. So as we come up, and here's why I think that the McCree is maybe not so good here. So the McCree is very, very far back. In fact, we can look at it right now. So here we are with McCree, and their McCree was standing up on this catwalk. Now, if you're at all familiar with McCree, you'd know that this is too far. Especially, and the Reinhardt for FaZe was holding up here, the D.Va was here, kind of trying to project outwards, but it didn't really work out. But still, FaZe is clearly holding up in that area, which is too far for a McCree. And the only way to get up far enough, because you kind of want to stand behind this box, right? Or maybe behind here. The only way to get up far enough is to actually come out and get really dangerous and all the way out here. This is not a very good place for your McCree to be. The Soldier, on the other hand, is great at this range. And you can clearly see it as NiP just walks up, and really no one takes any damage. As you can see, if you look at their health bars, it's just nothing. Absolutely nothing. The Reinhardt shield just isn't going down. So if the McCree was some sort of better DPS suited for that distance, there's lots of options. You know, Junkrat is one that I think a lot of people overlook. Hanzo, even Pharah, just lots and lots of options that would be better suited to this range than the McCree. So NiP winds up taking the first point rather briskly, but it's okay. FaZe can set up, although 4 minutes and 40 seconds for the hangar phase is quite a lot of time. Now, the camera decides to not look at it, but there's a skirmish happening up there in the ship, and you can see by people's health bars. The McCree winds up taking out the stray Reinhardt, who should have gotten back a little bit earlier, and FaZe winds up getting some pretty easy kills that they probably shouldn't have gotten, and NiP was a little bit overly aggressive. So that's going to buy them a good 30 to 40 seconds, which is huge. That pretty much offsets the really fast take on the first checkpoint. And that's why it's very important for you in solo queue and your team to not be overly zealous when you're winning and you did really well in the first checkpoint, stuff like that, because being overly aggressive, wasting 30 seconds here, 15 seconds here with that sort of just stuff that you do after you win really hard, you know what I mean, that cocky overextension and all that good stuff, it can really just destroy any advantage you had. But here we have Shadowburn. He's going to get this cheeky little flank off with the Ana ultimate. Now this play, it looks cool, looks awesome. They got a lot of kills, very exciting, but it was quite bad. Very bad, in fact. So first of all, it was risky because remember, we have a Roadhog here on NiP. You could just have hooked the soldier and that's it, he's dead. Plus that was 2 ultimates down. We used the Ana ultimate, we used the soldier ultimate, and for no real benefit. And also the Reinhardt on Faze used his ultimate at some point as well, though we weren't able to see. So the stuff they were doing before was really good, being able to beat back NiP's over-aggressiveness. Managed to gain them a good 30 seconds or so, but these 3 ultimates that they used, plus the ultimate on McCree, bought them, maybe another 30 seconds in exchange for 4 ultimates? Definitely not worth it. And you can see that NiP has 5 ultimates going on 6, while FaZe has not nearly as much as they could have had. But we see the initiation happens here, D.Va ultimate comes out, and NiP is actually in quite a bad spot. If you look at them here, they're all clumped up, and this is not very good. In fact, it almost looks like they're Zarya ulted, but they're not. They're just all clumped up, but it doesn't matter. They have all these ults, and they do use all of them. They have the defensive ult, all that good stuff. And even though we have a Zenyatta ultimate for FaZe, it just wasn't enough. So NiP able to easily roll this point, even though FaZe had a very good position and would have won it if they had just had a couple more ultimates. So they really have to ask themselves if it was worth it or not to use 2 or 3 ultimates to delay for 30 seconds, only to have the point taken immediately after that. And so NiP does just the regular picking off members coming from the short spawn, who died on the second point, manages to get a couple, and that gives them a little bit of room to push the cart up here. Now, take note of the type of team compositions we have. So NiP has a absolute wombo comp. They really rely on the Zarya into the Roadhog and the Reinhardt and all that good stuff. So NiP really needs to play a little bit passively and save their ultimates and find a good opportunity. FaZe, on the other hand, wants to fight, but I think they're being a little bit too aggressive. You can see there, again, they use the McCree, the Soldier, the Ana, 3 ultimates for just a simple wipe, and you see NiP didn't use a single one, which is, of course, good on them to identify that. But also very obvious. If you're attacking and the defenders initiate on you with all these big ultimates and all this crazy stuff, just chill, don't do anything. You don't have to fight that. And we see again that at the cost of 15 to 20 seconds, FaZe might have thrown the game again. We see all these ultimates up, but this Zarya ult gets caught by the D.Va, which single-handedly loses NiP what's going to wind up being about 2 minutes and 30 seconds of time, which is insane. And so, okay, the D.Va versus... We'll see the D.Va versus Zarya matchup happen very, very obviously later on in a couple minutes. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But as we respawn, you can see that NiP still has quite a few ultimates up on FaZe, and they're quite good ultimates as well. So they should just be able to come up here and be very confident. However, we do have a nice zoning ultimate by Too Easy here on the McCree, and that was intended to just buy some time because look, these ultimates are almost up. So just buying a little bit of time lets them actually get their ultimates up. Now, what should not have happened, it was just meant to buy time, it should not have been able to kill Fraggy here. Now, unfortunately, Fraggy did something, wound up getting picked by the McCree, which is going to stop this NiP push cold in its tracks. And in fact, he did wind up burning his ultimate as well, which was off camera. We have no clue what he tried to ult, but whatever it was, it didn't work out. So this is, again, another huge setback for NiP's defense. And we're going to have a little bit of a fight here, which is only good in that it charges up your Zarya. This is the only reason you should be fighting right now, is to try to charge your Zarya, which is happening quite well actually. You can see she just gained 40%, 50%. She's already at 65%, which compared to where she was about 10% before, is quite good. And getting all that charge there was worth feeding all those ultimates to Faze, because Faze still doesn't have all that much stuff really. Now this fighting should probably not be happening because there really isn't anything to gain from this, but NiP's ultimates are much stronger combined than Faze's ultimates, meaning that skirmish to try to get the Zarya ultimate was definitely beneficial. If they had played passively, she still might have been at like 20-30%, which would not have really cut it. With only 1 minute left, now we have the Zarya ult up. So here we're going to initiate, and we see a little bit of a dance happening. We're going to see a little bit of a dance happen between the Zarya and the D.Va as Zappos respawns on that soldier, and we start to do this final push for NiP. Remember, 45 seconds left. Here we go. Now, think of this as Mafu trying to ult through the D.Va defense matrix. And we're really overthinking things here a little bit. So we come in, obviously we take a lot of damage, so we have to get healed up, but after that we're really running out of time, only 30 seconds left. So here we go, as we walk up, we're a little bit, he's still scared to throw it, obviously. He comes all the way in here and finally gets the ult off. So it was a little bit awkward. NiP managed to get a few nice kills off of it. Unfortunately, Forsaken not quite getting the ultimate off in time, but just that little bit of delay that Mafu had with his Zarya ultimate winds up costing NiP some precious seconds. And you're going to see that they just barely, let's see, it goes into overtime now. So now it's 0 seconds, and they cap the point now. Well, come on, do it. Let's go now. Okay, so that was maybe 6 or 7 seconds. Those 6 or 7 seconds, maybe not even 5 seconds, was the delay that Mafu had in throwing out his ultimate. And yes, if we just watch maybe 10 more seconds of that footage again, yes, the defense matrix is scary, especially if you're Zarya and if you're playing against a good D.Va like Zoms, who really is going after your ultimate. But we see a screw up there by Zoms. He throws out his defense matrix because he predicts the Zarya ultimate. Now you can Zarya ult, because remember, if we look, when D.Va drops her defense matrix, this is the delay between when she can use it again. That's more than enough time to launch your ultimate. And the Zarya versus D.Va matchup is something that players have not been practicing very much, but something that for you Zarya players and D.Va players and everyone should definitely be getting more acclimated to, getting more familiar with in the future. So now we're going to be watching the other side of this. Faze is going to be attacking, and if we just take a quick inventory of the team counts, we have exact same NiP thing they do, except instead of the Hanzo, they have the Mei. And with Faze, we see actually quite a similar lineup to what they had before with the Soldier McCree combo, with the Reinhardt D.Va combo, but instead of a Ana, they're running a Lucio. And this is sort of backwards thinking that they're running the 2 defensive ultimates when they're on attack, and they're only running the 1 defensive ultimate on defense. And this Lucio would have been definitely pretty helpful last round when they had to deal with holding off the constant threat of the Zarya, the Wombo combo thing. So I think that if FaZe were to ever run an Ana in this lineup, it would be on offense, and if they were to ever run the double defensive ult lineup, it would be on defense. And just the sort of composition that this team has is not really a rush in and punch you in the face type of thing. It's more like a just walk up and slowly move up and shoot you. They have the 2 hit scan, especially the Soldier with the heavy DPS from a distance, McCree to a lesser extent. You have the D.Va, who also can just put out that constant stream of damage, plus she has that shield that just lets you slowly walk forward. Same thing with the Reinhardt over here. So the Lucio speed boost is maybe not as strong as it is on a team like this. That's very close range and in your face. But enough theory crafting, let's just see what happens. So, a lot of people like to check up here for that little cute gank thing that teams like to do from this top area. But it's actually really risky, because if you're like NiP here and you're waiting for it, they have the Roadhog up here with the Mei, ready for the D.Va to come up and scout, plus they got a free Lucio as well, just as a little bit of bonus. Man, that setback phase, huge. So we get a really interesting pick off on the Roadhog by Too Easy. So that was something that was probably not going to happen 9 times out of 10. But fortunately, the Roadhog winds up going down, and so does the Lucio. So Too Easy here on McCree really just goes absolutely insane and opens this point up basically single-handedly for FaZe. As we see a really nice start for NiP go terribly wrong with yes, a little bit of over-aggression, but it really was just a little bit. So FaZe is, of course, advantage right now. But remember, they lost their D.Va early, and they lost their Lucio early, which means they weren't really in the best of formations, I suppose. They weren't really that coordinated as far as this push was going. Basically, Too Easy got a few picks, was like, all right, guys, cool, let's go kill him now. And they walked up, and things got a little crazy. Himsy on Roadhog, a hero that's very good and that sort of situation, takes advantage of this, gets a nice hook on Forsaken, and they wind up actually cleaning up the Reinhardt as well. So, FaZe, despite getting a bunch of good picks, gets the card up a decent amount of way, but in all the chaos and confusion, Himsy comes out along with the rest of his team, of course, and winds up getting just a lot of picks. Now, this ultimate by Shadowburn is not very ideal, because there isn't a fight happening. We still only have 2 minutes left. Time's ticking. We're getting to the point where they should be taking it very, very soon. And so here is the push. Now you can see that Zombs has switched to Tracer, which will be really effective because they saw that this NiP comp has really not much damage. The Mei is not very effective against the Tracer unless she gets that lucky headshot, but this winds up leaving Forsaken in the dust on that Zenyatta. He can't really catch up with the rest of the team with the Lucio boost and all that mobility, so he winds up getting picked off by Himsy from the back. But the DPS players, it is a triple DPS composition at this point from FaZe, really do pull through, and that was a really good demonstration by FaZe's DPS players of just how great they are, because a triple DPS lineup is quite difficult to run. It requires each DPS player to really be good at avoiding damage, and trust me, there's a lot of ways that they can die from this NiP lineup. A sleep, dead. A hook, dead. A Reinhardt, charge, or ultimate, dead. And we wind up getting some aggression here actually from NiP, this like crazy aggression in fact, and we saw the same thing happen from FaZe earlier and it got them into trouble. Let's see if the same thing happens for NiP. They burned a lot. A lot. They burned Zarya, they burned Roadhog, they burned Lucio, all for what probably amounts to maybe 20 seconds of stall. So let's see if FaZe can now push into this weakened NiP composition. Again, remember, it only takes about 20 seconds for FaZe to respawn, regroup, and all that stuff. So that big display of power by NiP there with all their ultimates didn't really do much. Now, right now, NiP is almost entirely on this ship here as we continue to play it. In fact, we're even going to get the Reinhardt up here in a little bit. And while this position, it looks cool, I'll give them that. Like, it looks pretty cool for everyone to be up on the ship here. It's not really doing too much. And you can see no one's really dying. No one's really taking much damage. But the cart is sure moving up. And we see that now there's actually a really big scramble here. We can see that the Reinhardt is way out of position. So a fight's happening over there that we can't see. The ultimate comes out from the Reinhardt on NiP. And remember, all of these heroes on NiP like to be together. This is a very combo-oriented composition. The Reinhardt wants to get a lot of people. The Zarya wants to get a lot of people. The Ana has to have someone to ult. The Lucio wants his aura to be on a lot of people, so they want to be together. And being on the ship like that, making that big, scattered, crazy fight happen, and just in general letting them push the payload so far, and really gave FaZe a lot of ground. So that was a massive setback to NiP's defense. Meanwhile, FaZe has a great comp for those like single, solo, sort of little skirmishy fights. All of their heroes are great by themselves, or most of their heroes, rather. But NiP have quite a few ults up of their own now. They do use the Ana ultimate with quite a few on the way, but it's not going to really be necessary. FaZe goes a little bit too quickly there. I think you see that Fact Fiction did use his ultimate earlier, and it really didn't hit much. It was very, very rushed. So again, a little bit more discipline. You know, we won. That was really cool. We won that fight. We won it quite severely, in fact, but maybe we should tone it back a bit. And whoa, holy cow, that was just a sick ult, really. I mean, come on. But the fight is actually still going on, and that was some really interesting, nice theatricals, but you can see it's getting a little dicey. But fortunately, Mafu gets some nice kills off, and we wind up pushing back FaZe. But if we can just look at that ultimate by Fraggy one more time, here we go. Jump over the shield. Boom. Man, that was amazing. That looked so cool. Unfortunately, as we've been talking about before, that big display of theatrics and stuff, burning all of your ultimates, not so good in the long run. Now, FaZe used some of their ultimates as well, which they probably should have kept. They already had the Reinhardt ult and the Zarya ult out of NiP, and just drawing the fight on like this is only going to allow them to farm their ults up even more. So there are a lot of things in this game that feel good but aren't good, and this is one of those. Like FaZe fighting back there against NiP's big push was really the wrong move. They should have just rolled over and let it happen, because now you see Mafu already has 65% charge going in. He's going to have enough charge to kind of stop this final push here coming into the last few minutes. We get some nice pickoffs though. Again, a little bit too overextended. This entire game has been pretty messy on both sides, to be honest. But remember, messy benefits FaZe with this lineup, because like I said before, FaZe's lineup is very good all individually. And so we're going to be able to push the card here. One more minute remaining. So FaZe has to fight fast and die fast if they're going to lose or win. Rocket's getting picked off there. Not maybe indicative of a fight that you're going to win. So at this point now, ult, and the Reinhardt also ulted. That was very risky, because you already lost your Lucio. At the point that you lost your Lucio, I think they should have gotten back. That was way too risky of a fight to take, and they actually wind up losing. So now they're down 3 ultimates. They could have had 6, and they're in the same position they would have been either way. So maybe just not enough communication knowing when their Lucio died exactly, because they did definitely have time to react. Oh no, but the Reinhardt goes down as well. They need to get back again. Fortunately, the Ana on the side of NiP kind of jumps the gun a little bit, but everyone's going crazy. All these ults are going out, and this is I don't know, guys. I think it kind of looks like solo queue. Not to bash either team. This game has been crazy, but definitely the coordination breaks down in the last 30 seconds of this game, and you can definitely tell. And don't get me wrong, this was actually a great match, and both teams did a lot of really cool things and had a lot of really cool ideas, even of especially FaZe kind of ran a newer lineup that wasn't one that you would see in the previous patch. You had that triple DPS push earlier with Zoms on that first checkpoint, but you can see how good plays, good ideas. Both teams set themselves up in really good positions multiple times, but just a slight instance of overzealousness or lack of coordination or lack of communication can mean the entire game. But I think there was a good demonstration that even if you have a lot of really talented players, your team still needs a really set, regimented kind of flow chart of how things work. And the type of flow chart I'm talking about of how the game flows, how you push, when you get back, when you ult, when you don't, is something that I do plan on talking about in a video this week. So look forward to that. Thank you, Alienware Arena, for giving me this great game to cast. It's a really great tournament. You should definitely check it out next time they're live. And of course, FaZe now, NiP, once again, great match from both of these teams. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you want to see any particular videos and all that stuff in the future, because I'm back. I'll be doing lots of videos this week. I'm done with my hiatus, So anyway, guys, like if you liked it, which I hope you did. Stay positive. Have a great day. Peace out, guys.